each Saturday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time by the
Systems Doctors,
Dr. Sheikah Houston and Dr. Tammy Taylor, best-selling authors, consultants, and speakers of Create and Educate LLC. Create and Educate LLC is an educational consultant and literary firm that provides professional development to schools and community. Their goal is to transform organizations with the REALL Resilient framework used to increase their school report card grades 2 and 3 grade levels in 1 year. REALL stands for Respect, Excellence, Accountability, Literacy, and Leadership. This framework is used to coach leaders and teachers and build student efficacy while putting systems in place that aligns the work of the school improvement, making the process manageable. When the work is manageable, teachers and leaders don't stress out or burn out. The Systems Doctors alignment systems are designed to help schools evolve and grow, all while instituting protocols and processes designed to promote collaboration and collegiality. The implementation of the alignment framework prevents some of the most common problems in education, where leaders sometimes aren't sure where to start, or in our new age of educating, leaders need a trusted sounding board that allows them to be vulnerable and transparent, preventing loneliness at the top. The framework doesn't just help leaders, but also prevents teachers from burning out from too many initiatives and embracing teachers as they are the experts. Finally, the framework extends to the children, helping them get engaged in school and solving a nationwide problem. Alignment systems are frequently referred to as a key element of success in the improvement process. In the sport of rowing, all rowers must put their oars in the water, succinctly creating a system for their boat to reach maximum speed. So schools that want to improve are bringing in
the Systems Doctors
to teach them all about the alignment systems that must be in place for school improvement to be accomplished at high levels. The dynamic duo provides insights into educational topics through their international platform, which includes educators, parents, and community members as a way to support important entities that make communities thrive. This is their way to pay it forward and provide the support they needed through their platform. Take a look. People who work with the
Systems Doctors
describe them as an excellent and inspiring group of leaders. They get into the weeds of work with leaders through their TrustMate Institute that you should contact them about today by filling out the contact form on their website.
Happy Saturday, everyone. It is Super Saturday. Welcome to the REALL Academy. I am Dr. Sheikah Houston. This is brought to you by Create and Educate and your very own Systems Doctors, HERS. Good morning, Tammy.
Good morning, Sheikah. And I am Dr. Tammy Taylor. Good morning, everybody, and welcome.
Yes, welcome to the REALL Academy. If you are not familiar with the REALL Academy, or if this is your first time joining us, we are practitioners who improved our schools, my middle school and Tammy's elementary school, 2 and 3 report card grade levels in 1 year with effective systems that we now teach to other leaders, leadership teams, and teachers to be able to effectively improve and have great success at their schools. So if this is something that you need at your school, or you need us to work with you as a leader or your leadership team, please connect with us through our website on the contact form. We are excited about the work that we are doing in South Carolina, in Texas, and in some other states, and definitely coming off of a great high from working with the AVID Summer Institute in Baltimore, where I was the MC. We had a phenomenal event everything just went really well. And shout out to the educator and student leaders who I was able to work with there and all of the staff developers. Everything just went great.
Awesome, Shika.
Thank you, Tammy. So we have not been live for a couple of weeks, so we are excited to be live on all of the platforms. We were having some problems with Twitter, but we got it back going. And thankfully, so Miss Truesdale, assistant principal out in Atlanta, Georgia, she's back with us. Sorry for our difficulties, but we're glad that you're back. And we're back on the platform that you
Yeah.
prefer. Good morning, Miss Truesdale. I hope you've had a great start to your year if you all have started. Miss Melissa Jones Chunu, good morning. Miss Stacy L. Joy, good morning. All the way in Los Angeles. Principal Rashard Davis, good morning. Oh, and he's in the fifth largest school district in the nation. Wow. Principal Sean
That's my
Hurt,
face.
yeah, who was on fire this morning, dropping those gems as usual, letting
Yeah.
everybody know to stop the insanity if that's what you've been doing. If you want to change, tune in, institute the tips. You will definitely have a great year if you do. Miss Real Purposeful, good morning. Augusta, Georgia. Fantastic Four, also, along with Principal Sean Hurt, Principal Josh Tovar, Fantastic Four PD. Kenna Rawlin, good morning. And Josh is saying, go Gamecock. The GOAT is here. Good morning, Principal Kafele. And we will be joining him next and be on with him next week. So we are super excited. Principal Central Hicks out in Texas. Good morning. Thank you, Principal Hicks. We look forward to working
Looking
with you
forward to
soon.
that.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
yes. Lynette Wilson from North Carolina, good morning. And Miss September Devance Van Daniels, good morning to you. We appreciate you. Oh yes, Principal Kafele, I'm trying to be like you on that big stage. I've gotten myself accustomed now, so that was my second time. So I think I told you last before I didn't see myself doing any types of keynotes or anything on the big stage. So I think I'm ready now. I think they've gotten me ready. Avid has, so I enjoyed it. It was really good. Joanne Bailey Matthews, good morning. All right, I think I got everybody, and if not, our engineer backstage, Princess Elizabeth Houston. She's going to start back at the top and she's going to go through the comments for us again. So, welcome to episode 157 of Systems of Excellence for Reteaching. Before we get started, I'm going to put up a few announcements. So if you have not registered for Coach Fest, this is the next event that Tammy and I will be speaking at together. Protocols to perfect your practice, coaching for the goal. So make sure you join us. That's going to be September the 19th through the 20th at Harris Conference Center in Charlotte, North Carolina. Great lineup of people that you see here on the flyer, including ourselves. So we are excited about that. And also on September the 14th, the next Build My Sister collaborative is coming up. We are honored to be able to fly in the progenitor of Africana womanism, Dr. Clenora Hudson Weems. She is just phenomenal in all senses of the word phenomenal. So if you are in the North Carolina, South Carolina area, and you can get to the University of South Carolina in Columbia on September 14th at 11 a.m. You will not want to miss this event. The Build My Sister Collaborative is going to feature Dr. Clenora Hudson Weems, and she's going to talk about that background of the Africana womanism, but we're also going to be telling you about the Build My Sister collaborative cohort that we have coming up in October. And it is just going to be an amazing event. I'm going to put a link in the comments for you to register. We're looking for affiliates to help us fill the venue. It's a 200-seat venue. So anyone that can help us, I'm gonna send a thing where you can sign up to be an affiliate for us to help us do that.
Yeah, we're really excited about that partnership with the University of South Carolina, and truly appreciate the folks down there, Dr. Hardy especially, who has gone over and beyond to make sure that USC has sponsored the space and provided us with the venue for this amazing event. So if you can, please join us. And if you are not able to join us, please promote it so that those who can will be there.
Most definitely. And this could not be coming at a better time. This is specifically about supporting and cultivating Black women in leadership. And this is something that we know is needed because we needed it. So sometimes when you don't have the support, you become what people need. So, Build My Sister is all about that. It's about helping you with that identity in leadership as a Black woman, self acceptance, success principles, and collaboration. So it is just really an amazing event. We got really great feedback from the last event, and we can't wait to spread the information to even more people.
Absolutely. And I think that one of the things, Shika, that makes it such a powerful program, an opportunity for women, is when you need something and there is nothing there, you have to become what you need. And that's what we had to do, realizing that being what we needed is exactly what other people need also. And I'm just so grateful that we had the foresight not to be selfish and keep it to ourselves, but to share and spread the wealth, because we promise that it is life changing. It has changed our lives so much for the better.
Most definitely. We are excited to continue our work with one of the school districts in South Carolina, where we will be taking our Leadership Institute to their leaders of the entire district. So, that leadership coaching with our Leadership Institute is something that they are definitely going to be able to benefit from. And we will be working with Texas, as you heard. Got some proposals in, and that brings us to our topic for today. We're still talking about our systems. And remember, at Create and Educate, we define systems as effective messaging, because that messaging is so important. If people are not receiving what you are saying, nothing that you say matters. So, effective messaging plus effective processes equals success over refinement. And when we're talking about that refinement, I got my mirror principle, Kafele. We are talking about making sure that we are reflective on what we are doing. Three systems exist through Create and Educate, through our systems that we teach. They are systems of respect, systems of leadership, and systems of excellence. So we are getting back into that today, where we are talking about systems of excellence for reteaching. And this is episode 157. So before you're able to really reteach, I think that is very important, and this is something that I do through my staff development work through Avid, that I carry over with everybody that we work with as well. You have to make sure that you have taught students first how they best learn, because if they're not self aware of that, it's going to be hard for them to process their learning. You have to make sure that they know how to take notes, that they know how to mark their text, that they have the supplies to mark their text, that you've taught them how to do that. A lot of times we take for granted that, especially at the secondary level, somebody somewhere has taught them how to do this without first pre assessing where students are with that. We have to, and I used one of the things that I used to make sure that I would tell my teachers. A lot of times people think that copying notes from the used to be the overhead projector back in the day, but now they got the Promethean board where they project them. Copying is not a standard. It is not something that will help children learn. It is just copying. It's not processing. So you still have to do something beyond putting them up. You still have to teach children how to take notes, mark their text, and then we use a process called focused note taking, where they set their page up in a specific manner. Notes are on one page. They are taught to underline specific words. They go back each day and are able to process something in their notes, because the other thing that we have to do is teach them how to study. So if we do not teach them how to organize themselves, how to study, how to process their notes, how to take notes, we can't even begin to reteach anything, because you don't have anything to be able to reteach them from. They have not had a good start to learning anything. So the foundation for learning first has to be set before we ever get to reteaching.
I think sometimes too, though, I think it gets a little convoluted when we don't really express to our teachers that the best method of demonstrating what is expected is through modeling. Like
Mm.
you model what you want students to know, and it doesn't matter what age you are, or whether you're a student in the elementary grades or if you're a student at the secondary level. You want to be able to have kids understand exactly what it is you expect from them. So I can't rely on the fact that, oh, they learned this in middle school. I know they learned focus note taking in the middle school, because you don't know what the teacher who taught them in the middle school taught them. So you really need, during that time when you're talking about getting some pre-assessment data on what it is they know, show them what it is you are going to expect from them, and then that sets you up for being able to um, provide them with the best opportunities to be retaught when that time comes.
Most definitely, Tammy. And the small group instruction that you all focus on, a lot more sometimes at the elementary level than we do at the secondary level, is a great place to be able to see where students are with their note taking, how they process things, because you're able to do that in a small enough group where you're providing them with feedback on taking notes, processing their notes. I'm a visual learner, so I have to see everything that I'm learning, and I have to grapple with it. I have to mark it up. I have to underline it. Sometimes rewriting it helps. So I think when we shifted to one to one technology in a lot of places, and then after COVID, we started requiring in some districts, not everywhere, that everyone use their systems management system. We use Schoology. It became a electronic shuffling machine. And
Mhm.
so when we're shuffling things through our management systems like Schoology or Canvas, and then we're not allowing the children to write, we're not allowing them to process, then we have taken away one of the steps of learning. So
Mhm.
it's important to make sure that even though we may be one to one, that we still have a balance.
Yeah, and I think it happens when we do figure out that whole process, because the learning management systems are great places to house playlists and
Mhm.
things that are essential when you are trying to reteach. But it is very important, I think, too. I agree that you have to have a good balance of, you just don't get sent to the learning management system to be your teacher for the day. That is to reinforce what it is you have presented to them. And I really believe that reteaching allows us to get a closer look at the potential gaps that exist after what our instruction has gone forth, and what we now consider to be a taught lesson for a particular learning target. So when we're thinking about it, we have to marry the ideals, and we have to really embrace that flipped model of instructing, so that you do utilize what you need from the learning management system, because it does allow you to have that single sign on sometimes for all of the things that are a part of what you do. But it also can be the place that centralizes what you want your students to come back to you for.
Most definitely. And then once we have that good foundation in place of having taught, what they need to be doing to be able to learn, now we have to define with everyone what reteaching is. And at the secondary level, I had to go through a process of teaching everyone that reteaching does not mean that you have stuck some office hours outside of your door to let children know when you're available, because a lot of times when we're talking about children who need to be retaught something, the fact that I failed it may have just taken me on out. I'm not even interested in it anymore. I'm not motivated about this anymore because I don't feel like I'm good at it. So these are not, in most cases, going to be the children who are looking at your office hours to say, oh, let me go back and see what Dr. Taylor can teach me about what I didn't get the first time. Then the other thing we have to combat is the insanity that Principal Hurt talked about this morning. If I didn't get it the way that it was taught the first time, why would I get it now? And I'm going back through the same exact process that was given to me the first time that I did not get it. So, we have to define what is reteaching. What does that look like? It does not look insane.
And
So,
that's a very important thing. And when Principal Hurt talks about the insanity of just teaching the lesson over that they didn't get the first time, and everybody missed the whole concept of what it was you were teaching, or not even so. Some people got it, some people didn't, but you don't go back to the data that shows you what
mhm,
it is the reteaching should be based upon. It does become a system of insanity, which we don't want. That's not one of our systems. If you go back and look at what our systems are, insanity is not one of those. So when you are looking to, and you're trying to process your way through that as leaders, the beauty of this is, and this is exactly what he was talking about this morning, making sure that you're in there to see. Listen, hold on now. This is a reteaching of the same thing I saw you do the other day.
right,
If they didn't get it the
exactly.
other day, um, chances are they are not going to get this again. These are the same kids. So we have to really pay attention. And as Shika said, really define what it is that reteaching means in your setting. Because if you don't base the reteaching on data so that you can precisely measure where the misconceptions are occurring, which allows you to reteach a whole lesson or parts of a lesson, whatever you need to do, then you're missing the point, and it becomes one of those educational buzz terms. Oh, we reteach. We do reteach. It isn't just a part of going through the motion. This is a for real paying attention to what your students' data is telling you, and then going back in there to scaffold the learning.
Right. And it is also not going back over the answers to the test. That is also not reteaching.
That's
So,
not reteaching.
reteaching, according to Create and Educate, is identifying the points of confusion on specific standards. So, you, like Tammy said, you have to first have analyzed your data to know what students missed, what strands, what lessons, what competencies. So they, and what you're teaching them, the reteaching part is you teaching them how to grapple with the point of confusion. They have got to figure it out. It's not something that you're showing them. And with collaborative study groups, that's my favorite system to be able to do that. With collaborative study groups, as a group, they are working together with all of those things that you've provided them, notes, their textbook, to be able to identify what the point of confusion was and figuring out how to work their way out of that. So it's also teaching them how to grapple with the work, which is a lot of times what we don't do. We want to give the answers, and that is not teaching. We have to teach the children how to work their way through any points of confusion, and that's where the real learning takes place.
Absolutely. And you cannot just stop at that. And it's nothing wrong with reviewing the answers, because sometimes that helps them to see where the mistakes may have been made. But you really have to find the power in analyzing your teaching, because if all your students are missing, or they're making the same misstep in solving an equation, that's probably not them, as you. And so, what you need to be able to do, as Sheikah said, is to offer that productive struggle. Let them struggle through that, because once they struggle through where they are in their productive struggle, you will see that, okay, the light bulb comes on. And so, you have an opportunity to really get down deep into that scaffold that will help you to close the gaps that are there. And honestly, in my opinion, a great evaluator of your teaching and the effectiveness of lessons is a strong exit ticket. If,
Mm-hmm.
and that's an immediate way to see what reteaching may be required. So if you are um, thinking about this particular system in your school, it's a very important one to hyper focus on, because this is what gets you the most bang for your buck.
And we're over
Closing the
now
gaps.
too.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Closing those gaps. We are we promise we'll get you where you need to go.
definitely. So join us next on Principal Kafele's page on the AP and New Principals Academy. Also on Sunday with the PGP podcast with Principal Josh Tovar and Dr. Moreno. And back here on Super Saturday, starting with Principal Sean Hurt. Yours truly, Create and Educate with your systems doctors. We will see you all next week. Thank you all so much for joining us.